Herzlich willkommen auf der Hauptbühne Austria Comic Con 2023. Und ich muss ganz kurz durchfragen für unseren nächsten Gast, den wir jetzt hier auf unserer Bühne begrüßen dürfen. Wo sitzen die Fans von Doctor Who? Wo sitzen die Fans von der Hobbit? Und wo sitzen die Fans von Sylvester McCOY? Please take.
Dankeschön. Nadine, Dankeschön. Ich bin ein Berliner. That means I'm a sausage. Yeah.
No, Berliner is a piece of bread.
Oh, is it? I thought it was a sausage.
The Frankfurter is not the Frankenfurter, that's Tim Curry.
Right.
But that's a different food, curry. Why are we talking about food? But first question, who was here yesterday for Sylvester McCoy's panel?
Me. I was here.
Really, I rarely saw you. But before we go into the fandom questions with Doctor Who and The Hobbit, I would like to ask you something completely different, because you are an actor with loads of experience in very different genres, and you even did a few horror movies.
Yes.
Which, given your comedic approach and comedic training, I find a lot interesting, especially the film you did, if you remember, in 1979. You made a Dracula movie with Frank Langella, Donald Pleasence, and Laurence Olivier.
Yes.
And my notes say that you have even played the title role of Dracula on stage.
I have, yes. I've also played Renfield on stage. And yeah, Dracula. I had to take over. The actor who played him became ill, and he was very tall, the actor, naturally. So they got me, obviously, because I'm not tall. And I used to joke that in order to bite into someone's neck, I'd have to get a ladder, put it up against, climb it, and then go, you know. Yes. But I had a great time playing Dracula. I went along for the film for Renfield. I was perfect for Renfield for the film because I was skinny, small, and neurotic and all that. But they decided to go Hollywood it up and get an Igor character to play Renfield, which was wrong because in the book he's not like that. But they liked me at the audition, so they gave me the part of a servant, a lunatic who's allowed out of the asylum and into the house of the doctor. And I was a helper, yeah, so I worked with, that was my part in the film, with Laurence Olivier, who wasn't the most pleasant human being in the world. He took against me for some reason. He said to me once, "Oh dear boy, you are nothing but music hall," which coming from him was interesting because his career was revived playing the entertainer, which was a kind of a music hall part. But a friend of mine said, he said it's one old upstager worried about working with one young upstager, because he was worried I'd upstage him. But we did, we were filming, we did this scene, I'll try and describe it to you, and Frank Langella, Dracula had come in and he'd sucked Lucy's throat and she was in bed, and Van Helsing, Laurence Olivier, with a German accent, not a Dutch accent, he couldn't do a Dutch accent. We were walking down together, he was there, and we came, and the idea was we'd come into the room, the camera was where you are, looking in, and then it was a connecting shot between the next bit. So we rehearsed it, and so rehearsal, he's there, we come down, and then we enter, cut. So we then go for the take. We come down like this, we come down to the thing, and he goes poof like that, I go bang like that, I hit the wall, and he walks in all by himself. And of course it wasn't an important shot, so the director kept it, but it was a really nasty thing to do. And I won't forgive him. Oh my God! I know them. Good friends.
What I loved most about your explanations, you said there was the Igor character, which I find funny because you played the Igor character last year in Rob Zombie's The Monsters.
Oh, yes.
And I personally love The Monsters, especially when I watch the black and white original series and see set photos of how colorful this was to get the contrast for the black and white photography. But when I imagine you and Rob Zombie standing next to each other, that has to be the biggest contrast I can ever imagine. So I want to ask you about how it was with Rob Zombie on the Monster set, whether you know the show from your younger years or...
Yes, no, I did. I knew the show, obviously.
Yep.
But I didn't... When they phoned me up and said Rob Zombie wanted me to be in this film, I had no idea who Rob Zombie was. So then what I did was I phoned my son. He knows all about these things, and he's into horror. And he said, "Oh my God, Dad, you've got to do it. Rob Zombie's amazing. He's, he does horror movies." He said, "You might not like it though. He does lots of blood. There's loads of blood in these horror movies." And I said, "I don't mind. I have ketchup on my chips, so I'm used to that kind of color." So I'm looking forward. Yes, I got a video of him because he's a great musician, and he was doing his heavy metal. It was amazing, wild, kind of really wild heavy metal. And I thought, oh wow, how exciting! And I was going to meet this wild man. This kind of, he'd most likely throw televisions out hotel windows. He'd wreck places. He'd be taking cocaine. He'd be whoring. A wild man. It turns out he's a vegan. A really sweet man. Really nice. I was very disappointed. I wanted this wild man, and he was a really lovely bloke. I mean, now that's a surprise. He's not. He's a wonderful actor because, his performance makes you believe he is that. He is that on the stage, but in real life, he's very gentle, kind, and very warm. I liked him a lot.
Do we have a question from the audience? In case you want to ask Sylvester a question about anything, please go to the mic.
Well, yes. Oh, don't worry. Don't worry. I'll be back. I'll be back. Once I get down these really difficult stairs, I'm like the Daleks. I don't like stairs. Now, I can't see now. I'm coming through. Here I am. Hello. Yes. Now you want to ask a question, right? Well, why don't you ask me to my face?
I wanted to ask you if you are a cat person or a dog person.
Woof. Meow. Woof, woof. When I saw you, I went woof, woof. But no, meow. I like them both, really. Yeah, I do like them. But I did have a cat most of the time in my life. I had a dog when I was a little boy, but then it ran away, and it broke my heart, so I never went back to having another dog. What are you?
I'm a cat person, definitely.
Now.
Hello.
Hello.
I would like to know if you enjoyed the new special with Doctor Who, where you appeared with Jodie Whittaker and Colin Baker and others.
Oh yes, no, it was great. Now the thing is that for the 50th anniversary, the year before, we travelled the world, all the, Paul, Colin, Peter, myself, and everywhere we went in the world, people said, "Are you going to be in the 50th?" They wanted us to be in the 50th. We thought we might be in the 50th, but then we discovered at the beginning of the year we weren't going to be in the 50th. So we made our own, the Five-ish Doctors reboot. If you haven't seen it, you should watch it. Peter Davidson made it, and his daughter, Georgia. Wonderful job they did of it. So we knew the fans wanted us to be in Doctor Who together. And then when we heard we were going to be in Jodie's last episode, we were all delighted, not only for ourselves, but for the fans, because we know the fans wanted to have it. And the response has been wonderful. I mean, it really has. People have really kind of liked it, have seen it, having us pop in. And don't go away, I'm still answering this question. Where's she gone? Come back. Sorry. I'm only joking. No, I'm not. Anyway, the thing is that, so you put me off my stride. Where was I going? Oh, yes. So Jodie, us in the thing, and it was nice working with Sophie again. So it was very enjoyable to do. It was great. And also, I never thought in my life that I'd ever fancy a doctor until Jodie Whittaker came along. I mean, all the others would never fancy that lot. Gosh, no. Anyway, it was great to do. Thank you for your question. You don't have to come and stand up. I'll come to you if you want.
Hi.
Hello.
It's very nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you.
Thanks.
Yes.
I wanted to know if you obviously have a long experience in acting, and I am...
Are you saying I'm very old? Mind how you go.
I'm trying to, no.
Sorry.
I'm an aspiring actress myself, and I wanted to know what you think the single most important quality is to have when you want to go into acting.
You've got to. It's like a calling, really. It's like you have to have a passion for it, and it's not going to be easy.
I know.
It can be. You can be lucky. Yeah. I mean, I was very lucky. Because I kind of wanted to be an actor, but I didn't know how to go about it, because I came from the Highlands of Scotland, which is up in the mountains and all that kind of stuff. Kind of green behind the ears. And I used to go past the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art, RADA. But the building looked like a bank. It was off-putting. It wasn't a welcoming building, so I was too scared to go in. Anyway, I ended up working in a theatre in London. It was the Roundhouse. It was the centre of the hippie revolution in theatre. We did the Rolling Stones played there. We did plays. We did all sorts of things. Is that me? Oh, that's me. Anyway, why are you looking up there when you can look here?
I was confused that my head was up there.
I'm confused as well.
Yeah.
Anyway. It's a permanent state, my confusion. Yeah. Anyway, so I worked on the Roundhouse. And while I was there was another actor quite famous in Britain, Brian Murphy. His wife was administrating it. So he'd come in when he wasn't working and collect the tickets I sold. And then one day, a director came in, a guy called Ken Cameron, and Ken came in and said, "Here, Brian, some bleeper has let me down. I had this wonderful mad show. Do you know any young actors that might be a bit mad?" And he said, "Ask the guy in the box office. He's out of his head." And he came up to me and said, "Do you want to be an actor?" And that's how I became an actor.
Amazing.
So that was lucky. That doesn't happen at all to anybody. But luck is an important part of our profession. Who you know helps. And a bit of talent helps as well. So there you go.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Right, hello.
If you could go anywhere in space and time, where would you want to go and why?
Where would I want to go and why? Fly me to the moon and let me play. I'm not sure, really. I'd quite like to go to the moon, now that I know it's possible. I mean, it'd be great to go and have... I'd like to look back at the Earth, because I think it might be the most beautiful planet in the universe. It's I mean, someone wrote a lovely poem about it, as if about the. I wish I could remember, but it was like it was an eye. It looks like an eye weeping in the universe. Yes, I'd like to do that. Thank you. Right. Anyone else wants to ask a question?
Right, so as both a fan of Doctor Who and The Hobbit, you play Radagast, you play the Doctor. If they met, which one would they like each other? Or
they'd hate each other. Yes, no, they do. The Doctor wouldn't, because he would think, that Radagast, he's such an upstager. And of course, Radagast would look at the Doctor and say, that Doctor, he's such an upstager. Any more questions? No, thank you.
Hi, it's always great to meet you. It's not my first time to. It was an honor to welcome you yesterday.
I'm honored, Your Honor, Your Honor.
To welcome you at our TARDIS yesterday for the photo shoot. We're happy to see you there again today. Remember we met yesterday in the night?
No idea who you are. Have I ever seen you before?
No. We met when you left the restaurant. Don't say that. That's
No, I was only joking. Because I met you outside the TARDIS. Yeah. You stole it. Give it back. I want it. It's mine. Anyway, what's your question?
Yeah, there are so many things I want to tell you because you were my first doctor. I met you first on TV. That was a few days after my father died. Oh, and you gave so much to me.
Thank you.
And that love to Doctor Who never stopped again. But that was not the question.
I hope not.
Is it possible to see your regeneration phase from Doctor Who the movie again?
What phase?
The regeneration phase.
The original.
The regeneration phase from Doctor Who the movie.
The original oration phase.
Regeneration, when you're...
Oh, you mean regeneration?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, don't worry. Don't worry. No. Anyway, yes. Oh, you mean this one?
Yeah.
Where's the camera? That one? No. I'm not going to do it for you. Any more questions? Any questions? Come.
Hi. How many Radagast scenes got cut from The Hobbit? Because Peter Jackson, they're shooting a lot of stuff, and the movie is only 2.5 hours long. And what's your favorite Radagast scene?
My favorite what?
Radagast scene.
Oh, Radagast scene. Oh, yes. Well, I'll tell you. In the film, in the cinema film, they cut a lot of scenes out. The ones with the shapeshifter, the bear, but in the extended version, they brought them all back, which is good. Now, my favorite scene was when I did the very first scene. I arrived and I was given this huge, big room full of forest and a beautiful house, lovely house to play with, and I had to try and save a hedgehog. So they gave me this it was a stuffed hedgehog, that's all it was, and I improvised trying to save it, and then I was so excited because I thought, I'm the only person in this scene. I'm going to be on the biggest screens in the world, just me and a stuffed hedgehog. This is brilliant. Wait till my family sees it. I'm going to be, oh, great. So cut to the first world premiere in New Zealand. I go along, I'm sitting there with my sons, and my scene's coming up, and I'm getting excited. Oh, wait till you see this, it's only me. And so what happens? The Wizards of Weta got hold of that hedgehog and turned it into that little creature, that poor little creature, and it was dying, and everybody's weeping for it. No one's looking at me. They're looking at that bloody little hedgehog. I wish I'd killed it. Coming down. Again, hello.
Yes, it's me again, because when you just said it, I wondered, with how many R's would you write Radagast if you could decide how many R's it had?
Radagast. Peter Jackson did say to me once, please, not so many R's. Reduce your R's, or he'll reduce my hours. Bad joke. Where, any more hands up? Coming? No one else? I can go home now, can I? Anyone else want to ask a question? No. Oh gosh, you're all, oh, there's somebody there. Another person. No, you stay. I'll come to you. I'll come. Move. Thank you. Thank you.
It's me again.
I know. Oh, I recognize you. I know from somewhere. I've met you before.
Yes. So you said you were in a constant state of confusion. How do you deal with that? Because that's me too.
Me too?
Yeah.
Isn't that something to do with people and young ladies being given a bad time by directors? That's me too, isn't it? Not that me too. Oh, another me too. I just enjoy it, embrace it, and make fun. Chaos is fun, really, as long as it's not too chaotic. That's a contradiction in terms. Where are we now? You're late. Where have you been? Have you got a question for me?
What was your favorite moment in Doctor Who?
Favorite moment in Doctor Who? Oh yes, well in a way my favorite moment, I suppose, was at the end of The Greatest Show in the Galaxy. There was this big circus tent, and it was the last shot of the story. We had to do this shot, and that was it. That was the last shot. I was going to walk past it, and I looked in the tent, and there were these big gun things, and I said to the pyrotechnic lads, "What's that?" And they said, "What it's going to be is the rubbish, the detritus from the gods of Ragnarok would blow out behind you as you walk past." So I walk past, action, this, we have to keep, this has to be done. We cannot do it again. I walk past, and then suddenly the whole Second World War erupted behind me. There was explosions, there was heat. I didn't know whether I was on fire, but I had to keep going. I had to keep walking, because we couldn't do it again. And, you know, if I die, well, at least they got it in the can. It turns out what happened was that they forgot to tell me they were going. They hadn't sent all the rubbish, all the detritus from London to blow out of this thing, so they improvised by trying to blow me up. They didn't. I'm still here. Right. Thank you for that question. Oh, where are you? All right, coming through. You thought you came here to be comfortable. I've got news for you. Right. Hands up. Hands up. Where is it? Is it you?
Can you tell us a funny joke?
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Doctor.
Who?
Hello. Hello.
I don't know if you remember us, but we've already met a few years back at the Vienna Comic Con.
Vienna, 2016. Really?
I think it was 2019 or 2018.
All right.
Already, but the question is, I have for you, what was it you had in your mouth when you did the Radagast scene where you had this stick insect in your mouth?
All right. Well, actually, it was Weta Workshop. I stuck it in afterwards. I kind of improvised. I just stuck my and then they put it in, really. Otherwise, it would have killed it. And then that would have been terrible for the poor little stick insect. Anyone else? Questions? You follow? But okay. Right. You're new. I'll come back to you because you're feeling.
What was the most eye-opening moment in your life?
In my life? Life, the most eye-opening moment. Yes, when my first son was born. I mean, I hoped for a girl. That's what I wanted. I wanted a girl. And then when my son was born and he came out, it was like, I became like a Jewish dad. Oh my God, I've got a son. I was going out, I got a son. I got a son, I got cigars, I got a son. I was so excited I had a son, having wanted a daughter. This changeover when I saw it was just wonderful. Yeah, and he came out with huge balls. It was amazing. That was hell. I was very proud. I got a son, and he's got big balls. He'll hate me for saying that. Maybe not.
And my question is, from the other doctors, which is your favorite?
Ah, that's a dangerous one. Because they're all taller than me, and they give me a hard time. You didn't say me. Well, actually, my favorite, I suppose, my first doctor. Usually, the first doctor is the one that pulls you into Doctor Who, and that was Patrick Troughton way back in the '60s. But then I lost touch with it when I became an actor, because it was all, you couldn't record it. They went out that Saturday. I was doing 2 shows in the theatre somewhere, so I completely lost contact with it. Although I did like Christopher Eccleston's doctor when he came back. I liked the idea that it was more of a working class doctor, not just, kind of posh Englishman, posh white British. I'm not, I'm Scottish, but anyway. So I like that a lot. Yeah. Well, who was yours? Apart from, now you better be careful with this answer. Oh, chips. Oh, thank you. Cheers.
Well, I mean, of course, you were one of my favorites, and David, the Tennant.
David Tennant. David, when David was doing it, the Scottish newspapers, I live in London, but anyway, the Scottish newspapers phoned me up and said, hey, Sylvester, what do you think? David Tennant's not going to do it with a Scottish accent. And I thought, what do you think? And I thought, what do I say to that? That's very difficult. I mean, then I thought, I know why, because he can do it with a Scottish accent. It's not, I mean, he wants to prove that he can do other accents. Especially because in Scotland, one of our most famous actors, Sean Connery, whenever he did a play, a film, he was in the Highlander, and he was playing, I think he was playing an Egyptian or a Spanish. And yes, I'm Spanish, or I'm Egyptian. And then he played a Russian. Oh yes, I'm Russian. And then he played an Irishman. Oh yes, I'm Irish. And I mean, he couldn't even do a feckin' Irish accent. And it's only 12 miles from Scotland. And so I think that that's why David decided to prove to the world that he could do another accent. And it was English. That's my theory anyway. And I'm sticking to it. Yeah. Anyone else? No? Ooh, that looks nice. What? Oh, you, yes.
Behind you.
Behind me. Right. Oh, there you are.
Hello, I'm from Czech Republic, and you visited 2 Comic-Cons, a Czech one in Prague and one in a little city called Chotěboř.
Yeah.
Do you have any fond memories?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I love Prague, and it was great. I really did have a lovely time. The last time I was there, the mayor of Prague took us around in his tram, his private tram, and he gave us a whole big tour of it. Lovely man, that guy. And then he took us up to the castle, and we dined and wined, and we had a great time. And it's a beautiful city. They say it's the Paris of the East. No, Paris is the Prague of the West. So,
Sylvester, I hate myself for having to do this to you again, but sadly, the clock is not our friend anymore. This is everything we have time for today for this panel. So Austria Comic Con 2023, give a huge round of applause to the amazing Sylvester McCOY. Thank you so much for coming.